Welcome to the Merch Minds podcast, where we discuss everything about the Merch by Amazon business and the print-on-demand industry. Here are your hosts, Glen and Yong.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Merch Minds podcast, episode number 18. My name is Glen with the YouTube channel Hustler Hacks, and my homie Yong is here.
Yo, man, what's up, dude? You know what, man? I'm over here risking my life, man. I'll tell you why. It's been raining like cats and dogs over here, man. I had to commute the other day in a raft, and
raft. Okay.
you know what? My life was in danger, but I'm like, the show must go on. You know, I'm risking my life just doing the show right now.
That's just the love of merch.
Exactly.
Right there.
Because you know what? I'm all about the merch.
Yes, sir. And I've been a little iffy the last week or so. I'm trying not to get sick. You might hear it a little bit in the voice. Sorry, but I'm just trying to fight this off. I had like a live show on my channel on Wednesday. It was kind of tough to get through, but finished it, got through it. Still putting up some shirts every day, but I'm just really not trying to get sick, and I just can't have that right now. There's no time for that. We got to dominate.
There's no time. Hey, actually, you know what though? You know what's helped me a lot? So, and I'm not bragging.
Okay.
For like 5 or 6 years, and this is, you know, I'm being completely honest and completely serious. I haven't gotten like the common cold in like over 6 years.
Okay. What's the secret then?
Well, I think one thing that I always do, I'm always washing my hands constantly, man. I'm washing my hands, and then I have those hand sanitizers. I'm using those all the time, and you know, I haven't had a common cold in like over 6 years. It's helped a lot.
Yeah,
So,
I haven't. I think I got sick like early last year, but it's been a good while since I've gotten sick. But I'm a huge fan of sanitizers as well. I have one in the car, especially after leaving like
like
Ross,
a thrift stores,
Savers,
huh? Yeah.
all those. Yeah, I have one. I have like two in the car, one at the office, one at the house. Like, you know, always trying to keep clean and stuff. But
Yeah.
you know, you never know. Sometimes if you're hustling too hard, it'll catch up to you.
Yeah, but even, you know what? Even as hustlers, man, we sometimes need to wind down and take some time off, man. It sounds like you're a little under the weather, so you know, a day off or two might do you some good.
Oh man, I don't like talking about that, but
Nah.
maybe. Just kidding. So today's show, Yang wanted to. The way he approached it to me was kind of talking about terminations, suspensions, whatever you want to call it, how to, you know, stay away from that stuff, be prepared, and how to stay safe. But he also wanted it to be a little ranty. I don't know how much we're going to actually be able to, you know, kind of educate. But we kind of just want to get stuff off our chest, talk about it, and, you know, that whole thing.
Here's the thing. Believe it or not, on every episode, Glenn and I, we have a list of notes that, you know, things that we're going to talk about. We do our homework. We do our research, basically. This particular episode is going to be, like Glenn said, it's going to be more like a rant, you know, just kind of venting our frustration, right? Because, you know, I've gone into a few Facebook groups now, and I'm reading about how people's accounts are getting suspended. I'm going into forums and people complaining about their accounts getting suspended. And I'm gonna be honest with you, man. You know, it's got me on the edge of my seat, because I'm like, well, what if that happens to me? Because as we all know, Amazon, they don't tell you nothing, right? It's just, you know, you can wake up one morning and you're locked out. You know, you're locked out.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
You know, that's something that we wanted to kind of talk about, and you know, things that we can do. Obviously, there's no guaranteed protection, but things that we can do. But like always, man, you know what? Let's start off with something a little more positive. You know, let's talk about our own personal numbers.
Okay. I like where this is going.
Yeah, you know what? I can start. You can start. It doesn't matter. I can start, man.
Okay,
I'll start. Okay,
go
you know
ahead,
what?
Go ahead.
I'll start. So, my numbers have been slowly growing, as I've said in my in the previous episode. Let's see. I'm looking at my numbers now. I'm logged in. So my 7-day average right now, or not average, but my last 7 days activity, I have 75 shirts sold
Okay.
for the amount of $1,440.17. Now, my estimated royalties on that is $525.89.
So this boy's
And
trying to get to that $2,000 for the month.
so, you know what? So I'm glad you brought that up because, for those of you guys that heard the episode a couple of weeks ago, I gave myself the goal of trying to reach 2K this month. And if my numbers hold up, and they've been pretty solid for the last 7, 8 days, if my numbers hold up, I'm going to hit that 2K mark. But as we all know, every time I predict something, every time I talk about my numbers, we all know the last 2 weeks or something, what I'm saying? Something happens and I can never meet my mark. So we'll see. But my numbers, they've been solid. And as we all know, our upload number has been they've been decreased. So I was at 4. I'm now at 2. I'm still designing and I'm still uploading every day. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Glenn. I'm kind of glad that they decreased my numbers, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I love merch. I love everything about merch, but I'm kind of glad, and I'll tell you why. Because I've been trying to get my Shopify store
Up and running.
Mm-hmm. But every freaking day, man, I'm doing these merch designs and I can never commit any time to my Shopify store. And for those of you guys that don't know, I do have a day job. So I'm committed to my day job during the day. So I'm doing all this merch stuff at night. And I could never work on my Shopify store. But now that I'm kind of limited to just 2 designs on merch, now I can focus my time on my Shopify store. So for the last 2 days, I've been really, really crushing it on my Shopify store. Crushing it meaning it hasn't been launched yet, but I've been working really hard on it.
When do you want to launch?
I'm trying to launch it by late next week. So I told myself, I told myself I didn't want to launch my store unless I had at least 7 designs. I now have 7 designs. It's just a matter of now just adding the right products and just really working on the website and have that up and ready to go by late next week.
Okay, that'd be a pretty good, interesting show talking about the Shopify store.
Yeah.
And what you want to do, what your goals are, the differences between that and merch. And because I know we have the Merch Minds podcast, but when you talked about the description, a little bit about the podcast, you wanted to do print on demand in general, and not just necessarily merch. I mean, that was the main thing that we were both into. We wanted to grow, but you wanted to hit the whole print on demand thing in general. So I think that'd be good to talk about Shopify, and also good for like a whole backup plan that you know what, maybe Shopify would actually do better for you instead of merch. But if you have both of them running at once, I mean, who knows what could happen, what kind of money starts coming in, so I think it's pretty good.
Right. And you know what? I'm not an expert. And first of all, man, before I even continue, I got to give a huge shout out to a few people, man, because they've been kind of helping me out behind the scenes. I'll send them messages, and they're always pretty quick to respond. Gio Hernandez, big shout out to him. He's in our Facebook group.
Yes, sir.
He's been very helpful. Daniel, I forget his last name, but he was our very first guest on the Merch Minds podcast. Always quick to answer my questions. And Mr. Treasure Gnome, I know he's out in Thailand somewhere right now.
Yeah, he's living the life right now. So
yeah, God knows what he's doing over there. But yeah, he's always quick to answer my question. So big shout out to those guys, because I know those guys have Shopify stores, so they've been answering my questions. Again, I am not an expert, so if I run it, if I come across a barrier and I can't figure it out, man, those guys are always there to help me out. So big shout out to those guys. But yeah, man, I'm working on my Shopify store, and I'm gonna integrate that with my FBA account. Which that's something that we'll get into when we get into that Shopify episode.
Yeah. And speaking of Merch Minds, you talked a little bit about the Facebook group. and you shouted out a couple of people. Let me just do a quick little shout out.
Sure.
A couple of people too that are doing pretty good. Connor James in our group, he had 26 sales with 21 designs live. Things are steadily increasing. Margaret had a pretty good day too a couple of days ago. I think she had like 11 sales so far. And I think that was like on Monday or something, or no, maybe earlier in the week. But she was doing really good that day too. A lot of different, different numbers, different questions, a lot of things going on in our group. So right now, if you are not in the group, click on your little Facebook app. I know you're right there on your phone. Go on the Facebook app. Type Merch Minds, top bar. There we are. We have over 200 members. We're growing. We're getting there. And just go ahead and click that. You want to make sure you join. We'll accept you right away. We're welcoming everybody in right now. We just want to have a huge, good, positive Facebook group. So please join that right now.
And I'll also have that link in the show notes as well, so you guys can link on that. Click on the link there. But yeah, man. So I'm working on that, and eventually I have to learn some marketing, the Facebook ads and the Instagram ads and all that. I got to figure that out, because one thing I do know is that you're not going to get, with a Shopify store, you're not going to get organic traffic. Maybe in a rare scenario you can, but typically you have to drive traffic to your site. So that's something that I need to figure out. But yeah, man. So I'm kind of glad that my upload on merch has been decreased to just 2 per day, because I've been really focusing on my Shopify store. So
yeah.
So yeah, man, but slowly things are growing. My merch numbers are, like I said, as of now, I'm on point to meet my 2K mark, but we'll see.
Yeah. And are you doing like 14 designs like in one day and then having them ready to go? Or are you doing like 2 per day, like designing them that same day and then uploading them that same day? Or how are you doing it?
I'm kind of like you, where I have an idea of what I want,
Okay.
and then I just do my designs every day as I go. See, the difference between you and me though is, because I think you're now down to what, 35 per day. Like I said, I said this before. There's no way in hell I can design 35 freaking designs per day, right? And if I do, they have to be really basic. I'm talking just flat out just text. That's all.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can do 35 designs per day. So because I'm limited to just 2, I can, even though I have a general idea of what I want to do, I can spend that extra 45 minutes to an hour now and make that design look really nice, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I've been doing. I do have the ideas and the concepts of what I want to do, and I just design every day before I upload. And again, I spend a fair amount of time now, because again, I'm not in a rush now, because again, I only have 2 designs to upload.
Yeah. But at least a good thing, like you said, you're making the best of it. You're making sure you're getting both of those designs in every single day. And that's all you can pretty much do. I mean, you're doing the best that you can.
Yeah, I have to admit, I did miss a day.
Oh, you know what?
I did miss a day. Wait, hold on, dude. Hold on, man.
Okay.
Before you chew me out, man.
Sorry.
I have a good reason why.
Okay.
It was Super Bowl Sunday.
Okay.
I had all kinds of festivities to attend. A lot of beers to drink, a lot of barbecue to eat. And as we all know, that was a great game. So I was out. I was out and about all day Super Bowl Sunday, so I wasn't even thinking merch. But yeah, that was the only day that I've missed so far. But other than that, every day I've been uploading.
Okay, that's what I like to hear. I'll let that one slide this time.
All right, thank you.
Let it slide. So numbers, we're same thing. I've seen it growing. It's getting better since I've been able to upload more shirts per day. And right now, where am I at? Last 7 days, I think 2 episodes ago, I was roughly like 200, and then it was slowly going to like 220 range. One time, I think it hit 230. So now my average, at least at the end of the day, have been like 250 to 260 range.
Per day.
Products sold last 7 days.
Man, last 7 days.
Yeah. So like 250, 260. I think one time I hit like 270. But more or less, it's been between that range now. So a couple episodes ago, I was at 200. Then I was at 230. Now 250 to 270 range. That's products sold last 7 days. So product purchases is about like $4,500, and then estimated royalties is about $1,400 to $1,600 the last 7 days.
The last 7 days.
Yeah, it's been up and down. As every day turns, it goes up and down. So I'm around that range. If I can keep this up, then we will be in between the 5,500 to 6,000 range for the month. And I haven't hit the 6,000 range. Well, December doesn't really count because, that was the Q4 stuff. But before then, I think it has been quite a bit because my numbers are going up and down. November, I was in the 6,000 range. But before then, I was in the 6,000 range in June. And then they just kind of like declined since then. They were all in like the 5,000 range. So if I can get back up to the 6,000 range and then keep growing it from there, let's try to get closer and closer and closer to that 10,000. I can't hit it for some reason. It's going to take time to grow. And I think during that time, that May and June, when I was over 6,000 royalty, for the estimated earnings, during that time, that was when I had over, I think, 2,500 shirts, more or less. So, since the 60-day rule, I'm maintaining stuff down, and now I'm trying to get that back up, and I'm at about 1,800 designs right now.
Man, 1,800 designs. See, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I have 243 shirts live right now.
Okay.
So
and let's see, because I'm trying to figure out too. So if you're doing 2 per day, where are you going to be at the end of this month? This is a shorter month, though. We're already like 3 weeks until this month ends, which is kind of crazy already.
Yeah, this is a very short month. 28 days in February, the shortest month out of the year. And I just realized this. I know in previous episodes, I've always said that I started merch in March, but now I think about it, I started in February because merch always pays you a month later.
Oh yeah.
So my first payout was in March, so that means I must have started in February. So this is my 1-year anniversary.
Oh, congratulations!
Thank you. So
did we get you a cake or something? I thought we got you something for the show.
Dude, a muffin or a Twinkie or something, man. FedEx me that, please. But yeah, so this has been 1 year, and it's like I said, guys. There's no shortcut. Okay, it's taken me 1 year to almost reach that 2K mark per month. So, if there's people out there that's promising that you can make a fortune doing merch overnight, that's just garbage. It's not going to happen unless they know something that we don't, because it's taken me close to a year to reach this milestone. So but man, it sounds like you're doing great, man. You're going to do about 6K, you said, but now you're still uploading every day. You're still designing every day, correct?
I am doing it every day, but pretty much like you said, they're very basic, almost like just type. Like they're super, super simple. But the good thing is, especially this whole month, because I've been adding them, every day. I think one of the days, I sold at least like 15 of the new designs one of the days. So as long as I just get that one sale on one of these new designs and it's on there for, doesn't get taken down for the 60 days, and then I'm good. As long as they're staying on there and they're live, they're good to go. then that's good for me. I just need one sale. That's all I need.
Yeah.
So
And speaking of the new designs, like I said, I actually, as I mentioned, I actually spend a little more time on mine because I don't have to design as much as you do. But I've noticed a bunch of them have sold, and there's about 3 or 4 that are probably my best sellers right now.
Oh, nice.
They really took off because obviously I'm not going to say it, but I tapped into a niche, and it's been paying off relatively good. So,
Interesting.
so that's been paying off. And I'm just doing new designs for that particular niche almost every day, and it's been paying off really good. So,
now this niche that you speak of.
I said an itch. I have an itch. That's what I said. I'm working on my itch.
Butt itch. That
Ooh,
butt itch. That's
butt itch. That just don't sound right.
I thought it was a niche for a good while. Maybe we can get a little bit more info on that. So untapped niche. So good sales. Glad to hear that you're almost at the $2,000. You got to keep it up for the $2,000 for this month, and it's a short month.
It is a short month.
You got to hustle.
Yeah. Well, likewise, man. It sounds like you're doing really good. There's always that little friendly competition between us, and I'm trying to catch up to you, man. But it's getting harder and harder.
It's getting tough, I think, in general. But I think it's a good type of challenge right now with merch, because the good news was, I think on the 9th, or yesterday actually, because we're filming this the 10th, they posted that everybody should be live, ready to go, and you can upload something, at least 1 or 2 a day. But I think they got past all of that now, and I think everybody that has a merch account can upload something now. So I mean, that's good news for everybody. I know we had some people still in our group that were wondering, like, how come I can't upload anything yet? So
right.
So that was good news.
I think one of them was Melissa, but I just recalled the other day that she had posted that she can now finally update. It was like 1 or 2 designs per day.
Oh, okay.
Which is good news. I mean, it's not much, but hey, it's better than nothing. So congratulations to her for finally being able to upload.
Yep.
Yeah, man. So yeah, man. So you know what, man? Let's just get right into it, man. Okay. You know what? It's been a little frustrating. It's a little scary. But I'm reading in Facebook groups, and I'm reading, in the forums, people's accounts are getting suspended, terminated, whatever you want to call it. And I have to admit, man, it has me on the edge of my seat because, like we said earlier, Amazon, they don't tell you what you did wrong. And, in the perfect world, right, as business partners with Amazon, if that's what you want to call yourself, I don't know, call yourself whatever you want. But you would think that they would tell you, right, hey, this is what happened. Okay, this is not allowed on our platform. This is why we suspended your account. Or better yet, man, just give you a warning, like 1 strike, hey, this is what you did wrong. Maybe on the second time, we'll suspend your account. But I'm going to tell you this right now, man, because I think I'm doing everything right.
Yeah.
But there's no guarantee.
Yeah. And I think that what was it? Kind of like what we talked about, I think, when I was telling you about the YouTube, how they do it. It's kind of like how they kind of like judge your what do they call it? Like, I guess your account, and they grade you kind of like to see, like they have like, I think 4 or 5 different little buttons or something. You're like in the green, and then you'll go down to the yellow, and then you'll go down to red. Like, it kind of shows you how your account is going right now. Like, if you go over certain terms and stuff, like they're slowly warning you, and you can keep the progress on that. I mean, that would be something really, really cool. But how many people actually have accounts, and can they go through that? I mean, YouTube's like, I don't know how much bigger than merch, so they can do it. Right. But that would be a really cool idea, to see red, yellow, green where your account is. If you have certain strikes, maybe things got rejected. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah. See, but then FBA has something like that. like if you log into your dashboard, you
Oh
have
yeah, yeah.
your what the heck is it called? Your cellular health or whatever, and they grade you, and at some point, if you start acting out of control, you know, they'll warn you. They're like, hey man, your cellular health is not looking too good. They grade you. And being Amazon, you would think they would offer something like that on merch. I don't know, but it's just it'll always be nice to have something where they can communicate with us. And I know, hey, it's in their terms of service that they specifically say that they can terminate our account with no explanation needed. But as content creators and and again, quote unquote business partners, if that's what you want to call it, you would think that they would provide some kind of any kind of just communication, like this is what you're doing wrong. And not just that, man. The terms of services is very vague, right?
Hmm.
You would think that they would have some very specific guidelines of, look, this is what you can do, this is what you can't do. And in my opinion, their terms of services is very vague.
Hmm. Well, it does have like I guess different examples and stuff, but I know what you're talking about as far as like certain copyrights of certain, I don't know, taglines and stuff that we were kind of talking about that the other day. But going back to like the seller health, I think that's a good idea. Something that would be really, really cool. I mean, they could even, it'd be kind of funny if they showed you kind of like you were like a Nintendo 80s, like, boss battle. Like you're like green, yellow, red, and you're like your health is like blinking now. And then like you're blinking, you're like, oh man, he's almost got him. I mean, that would be pretty cool.
You know,
But
you know what that reminds me of is that whole George Bush airport color code. It's like something like if you're in yellow, we're okay, but then if we're at red or something, I forget. We're it's a terror. There's some kind of a terror threat or something.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, that's what that reminds me of,
So merch health, that's what we need. Merch health.
or something, or just
Yeah.
any kind of communication from Amazon, because and it breaks my heart, man. I read people's posts on Facebook groups about, hey, you know, I was doing $10,000 a month and my account just got suspended. I have no idea why, and it's like, oh man, that's gotta suck.
Yeah. And we don't want to just bash and take merch's side because we also don't know what the person was doing. If they were
True.
being 100% legit, they didn't know, they were checking stuff in the trademark website, or maybe they thought they knew, but then they were crossing that line on trademark
Hmm.
stuff. I don't know, and I don't know. Maybe we'll never know. I guess with
Yeah, and
certain.
and you and I just found this out the other day. Remember, we mentioned this in, I think it was last week's episode. Trademarkia and USPTO, if you look up a phrase or any kind of words, you get different results, because I looked up a a comment on Trademarkia, and it was saying that it's not trademarked. But then you went and looked at USPTO and you did the same search for that for the phrase, and you came back with like three or four results, right?
Yeah, and not only that, the one phrase that you that we were talking about, not only was it trademarked, it was live, it was specifically for clothing, t-shirts, and it
Hmm.
had a registration number. Like this thing was good to go. This thing you cannot do, but for some weird reason, Trademarkia did not have it or pick it up or something. But that was a huge thing for me because I love Trademarkia. I used it for a good while. I was
Same
going
here.
back and forth between that one and the USPTO, but I was just kind of going back and forth. But now I'm like, you know what? I think I have to really just go with USPTO and not even go to Trademarkia. I don't know. I mean, because it just seemed really, really weird to me on why they didn't have it.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, no, I'm the same way, man. I'm in the same boat where I was using Trademarkia, uh, at least about up until about 4 months ago. I would use Trademarkia to look up everything, right? Hey, my name is Joe. I like coffee, whatever, right? And if it doesn't come back, being registered, I would just go ahead and design that shirt. But then after talking with you, and you're like, yeah, man, no, I think that phrase is trademark. And I'm like, no, it's not, man. I just checked. And then I sent you that screenshot, and then you sent me the screenshot, and I was like, oh, what the hell?
You thought I photoshopped it for some reason, but no, it wasn't
Dude,
photoshopped.
it freaked me out. So I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, so even if you think that you're doing something right, man, go back and double check. Man, I don't care if you're using Trademarkia, if you're using USPTO, just go back and double check. Check both platforms if you have to. Just protect yourself, because you never know, man. When it seems like every now and then, Amazon, they go through their rounds of suspensions, and no one's protected from it. So always, always double check everything. And you know what I'm terrified of, Glenn? And this is something that you and I talked about. In the real world, right? If outside of Amazon, if let's say, I don't know, I trademarked the term "go out and get it," right?
Okay.
Well, okay. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Let me start from scratch. Let's say I make a shirt. Let's say I make a shirt that says "go out and get it." Okay.
Yes.
I do my research. I go on USPTO. I go on Trademarkia, and it's not trademarked, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. This isn't trademarked. I go ahead and make a shirt. I upload it onto Amazon, and it's a number one bestseller, right? It's selling like 40 per day. The ranks number, it's in the top 10, and it's people are going crazy, right? This is what I'm afraid of, man. 6 months down the road, some Joe Schmo comes along and decides to trademark that term, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the real world, I think technically we're protected because our design was up there long before Joe Schmo came along and trademarked it. And I remember giving you guys that example several months ago, and I'll just repeat that story very quickly. I knew a friend in Florida. She had a sports shop called Upper Deck years ago, long before even Upper Deck, the sports card company, even existed. So she had this sports shop called Upper Deck, and then Upper Deck, the sports card company, came along, and they tried to sue her, saying you can't use our name. And then she was like, well, I had this name long before you guys even existed. They went to court. She won the case. Okay. So I think in the real world, I'll be okay. But in Amazon's world, in my opinion, all they're going to see is, oh, well, this phrase is now trademarked, regardless of when Young uploaded this design. Suspension, terminate his account. That's what I'm afraid of. That's what I'm afraid of, right? So it's like, I'm kind of curious. It's like, how do I protect myself, Glenn? And I like to hear your opinion. How are you protecting yourself, or for that matter, anyone that's listening? If you guys are doing something to protect yourself from something like that, please contact us and let us know. But I mean, what are your opinions on that, Glenn?
Let me tell you how I'm using protection.
Oh, okay.
So
sure.
So to protect myself on merch, this is what I think. It's not about who created it first. It's about who trademarked it first. And kind of like we talked about, it does, suck, like you said in your example. But I think that if someone, you had your original design, it came out, and then someone trademarked it. Now, after that, I think it's fair to say that you must take it off now. I mean, someone trademarked it. They put in the money, the time, the effort to go through this whole trademark system, which probably takes 3 to 6 months, maybe even longer, to go through this whole thing. Now they own that certain slogan or tagline. So you must take your design off. Do I think that you should be suspended, terminated, gone from merch totally? Absolutely not, because you did create it before it got trademarked. So you could probably take it down, but I don't think they should take you down for that. But for protection wise, I would say first off, always check every single tagline slogan on the trademark website. Make sure it's good to go. Keep that email where they tell you, when they sent it to you, when you uploaded it. I think that if you're able to somehow get in with Amazon and try to like protect yourself in that case, and they're asking for, I don't know, some type of proof, at least you can show that on this day, my shirt went live. This is when I uploaded it, and then take a screenshot of the USPTO of the one now of that certain tagline. This thing got, approved on February 10th, 2017, but clearly my design was uploaded December 10th, 2016. I did it, 2-3 months before, and I didn't do it after the fact that it was trademarked. I think that was probably something that maybe they would consider, but at least you have some type of documentation to somewhat protect yourself.
Okay, that perfectly makes sense. But so are you saying, Glenn, that once a month or maybe twice a month that you're going into your inventory of your live shirts and you're rechecking every shirt?
I would recommend at least once a month, and I have been doing that, and
Really?
I can.
Wow.
Yeah, I went through it. It does take quite a bit of time, but I can tell you that at least the times that I have gone in, there has been at least, I think the last time I checked, I think I at least had like 10 to 15 shirts that were trademarked since then.
And did you take them off?
Yeah, I took them off.
You took them off.
Yeah, just to be safe. What?
Were they pretty hot sellers?
One of them, I think for, let's say, I know there was 2 of them that were doing pretty decent. I know one of them I had sold maybe like 12 in the last 2 weeks or so. The other one I sold maybe like 10. The other ones are just a little mixed. I think 2 or 3 of them didn't have a great ranking or anything. Maybe they just sold once.
Mm-hmm.
But I was looking at the the date that it went live and when it got trademarked and stuff, and a lot of that stuff too was really, really recent. One of them I think was like January 27th, January, when they do it. Because I remember I was reading that January 8th, like 2017 or something. And so that was already last month. It went live. I wouldn't know if I didn't go back and check them. And, it's going to take way longer having 1,800 shirts. But I would also recommend, if you don't get to upload, let's say you're down to 1, 2, 10, 20, 40 shirts per day, take a week off to just go through your shirts. Take a day or 2 off to just go through and just double check everything. It's just always better to be safe than sorry. I think that's probably the best thing you're going to have to do, because every day different trademarks are going through. I mean, everybody's doing this on different taglines and stuff every single day. So you don't know when, one design was not there a couple of months ago, and then there it is.
Yeah. And so, and this is, one of these days, I'm just going to have to reach out to my instructor and maybe ask him to be a guest on the show, because he gave us like a 2-day lecture on the whole copyright, and the whole trademark and the fair use topic in design. And so maybe one of these days I'll just reach out to him and he can explain better than I can. But I know he's really busy right now because the semester just started about 3-4 weeks ago. So, I know he's busy. So maybe in a few weeks here, I'll reach out to him and we can do an episode just interviewing him. But, if I'm wrong, hey, so be it. I don't know. But from what I recall, he was saying that you can have multiple trademarks of the same name, long as it's a different
Like
industry.
Category?
Yeah, industry. So,
okay.
for instance, if I trademarked Hustler Hacks
for a restaurant,
and then you have Hustler Hacks for your T-shirt business, he said that's allowed. But if but obviously your Hustler Hacks for a t-shirt business, and then if I come along and I try to trademark Hustler Hacks for a t-shirt business, he said that's not allowed. Again, folks, I am not an attorney. I'm just telling you what I learned when I was in class. So don't shoot the messenger. I could be completely wrong, but yeah, I mean that's what he said. So if that's the case, but again, I mean, I would like to know how Amazon looks at this, right? Because
Yeah.
whatever I learned in college, it might work in the real world, but it might not work in the Amazon world, right?
Yeah.
So I would really like to know how Amazon goes about thinking about stuff like that.
What's your take on like parodies? Like it seems like there's like a thin line between copyright, trademark, parodies. I mean, like I don't know. Like what about when Weird Al redid like all those songs?
Yeah,
Or how like
well,
Coolio didn't like that he did Gangsta's Paradise. Like what about that, Young? What about that?
well, first of all, man, you need to take that bass out of your voice, man.
Oh, sorry.
You're getting all excited and stuff, dude. I don't like that, yo. But again, this is what Joe was my instructor in college. This is what he taught us. Okay, he said parody is typically fine. He said, how did he say it? He said parody is fine as long as you can physically recognize the difference. For meaning, gosh, I'm just trying to think of a good example. Let's say, I don't know, Just Do It, right? We all know Just Do It is Nike.
Yeah.
And then I do a shirt that says Just Do It Later, and I've actually seen those shirts, to be honest with you. Joe told me that is fine because you're not coming across as being Nike, trying to sell a product and convincing people that you're Nike. Does that make sense? Because with when you do a shirt that says Just Do It Later, clearly everyone knows that's a joke. It's a parody. And Joe said in most cases that's allowed. But he did go into certain scenarios where they had to there were some court cases and whatnot. But he said typically it's allowed. But again, I'm talking the real world here.
Yeah, let's see if Amazon thinks that's
Amazon might say, "Whoa, this guy's he's doing something that Nike did," and suspend. They hit that suspend button, and your account is no more.
Just Do It Later, huh?
Yeah, I mean,
real clever. Who is this guy? Young?
But I mean, Glenn, I mean, is that something that your instructors in college ever talked about? I'm kind of curious.
Well, I don't know. That's the thing that I was talking to another graphic designer. I was like, how come they didn't really talk about a lot of the trademark, copyright type of stuff? Like, honestly, during college, they didn't even really go through it at all. Like,
interesting.
It's really, really weird. Besides using like things off of Google Images, obviously you can do it.
Clearly, you can't do that. Yeah.
Like to use stuff for print and logos and stuff like that. I mean, they kind of went through that, but they didn't really go through like all the fine details, all the legalities and all this stuff. They just, I guess because it was, I don't know, art and design, they should have gone through it because I think it's extremely important, especially if you're deciding to do your own business, your own firm. I mean, anything you want to do, even freelance stuff. I mean, all that stuff's really, really important. So I don't know. They really didn't even go through it, honestly.
Yeah. But yeah. I mean, so and what else scares me is what if you absolutely design something with no intention, with no knowledge of someone else having done something very close to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you create a shirt. You think it's an original work. It's an original work. It's something that you created on the top of your head. But there's some guy in Boston, Massachusetts, he sees the shirt and says, "Hey, that looks very close to mine," and he sues you. And then all of a sudden, Amazon again, we all know Amazon loves to suspend people. They just suspend. and that's what I'm afraid of, man. Again, because in the this, Glenn, in the design world, everything's been done at some point. Everything. Don't fool yourself, people. Everything's been done. People just kind of manipulated or changed certain things here and there.
Man, look at movies. Movies have been kind of sucky lately when you think about it.
Yeah,
Just trying to do like
think about it, man. They can't come up with original ideas, right? They're all doing remakes now.
yeah, pretty much.
So yeah, so those are the things that I'm really afraid of. And again, I'm gonna ask Joe to, because you know what? Because he gave us like a 2 full day lecture, and he had these really long PowerPoint slides, and I found it really fascinating. I actually have those notes, man. I think I have his PowerPoint slides somewhere. Maybe if I can find it, I'll share it with the group.
Okay.
I just gotta look for it. But yeah, I mean, I kept all my notes, man, because I found that whole topic fascinating.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Glenn.
well, I just wanted to read to you. I don't know if you've read like the first paragraph of the Amazon policy.
Okay.
So I'm going to read that to you. Amazon reserves the right to make judgments about whether or not content is appropriate in its sole discretion. Submitting a design that violates our content policies may result in the cancellation of your listings or the suspension or termination of your Merch by Amazon account.
So first of all, they make it sound like suspension and termination is two different things.
Yeah, exactly. That was one of the things that I caught from this sentence.
Well, what does that mean? It sounds like two different things. Wow. Now I'm really confused.
Policies may result in the cancellation of your listings. So I guess cancellation of listing. I haven't had them take one down just out of nowhere. I guess like
I've had that happen a couple of times.
Oh, they just actually never mind, because they send you that email that just tells you that it was trademarked or something, right? Mm-hmm. And it tells you why. I guess like which ones got taken down. So that's different from being rejected, because this is actually cancellation of your listing, which means your listing is already up, or the suspension or termination. So they have it two different things. There's or.
Sounds like two different things.
Of your Merch by Amazon account.
What is what? I mean, I again, it's what I was saying earlier. They're a little vague in their descriptions. I mean, right after that sentence, it would be nice if they said, well, this is what termination means. This is what suspension means. Yeah. Because it sounds like two different things.
And as far as like contacting them, as far as I know, they do not have a phone number.
Oh man, dude, yeah, exactly. And don't even get me started on that, right? I mean, what happens if your account does get suspended and then you try to get reinstated? Like Glenn said, there's no phone number, so everything's done through email. And from my experience, the 2 times that I've tried to contact them, I never got a response.
Yeah.
So good luck with that. I mean, that's why I'm so paranoid. It's like I don't want to lose my account. And if you're listening, you're probably saying, "Man, Young sounds paranoid." Hell yeah, I'm paranoid. Man, I worked hard to get to this point. Are you kidding me?
And you think you're on the edge of the seat of your, in general. I mean, you're hanging on there. I was at like the edge of my bed the other night. This is totally off topic, but I gotta say, when you told me that we're gonna do like a suspension, termination type of show. Like for some weird reason, this was 2 nights ago, I had like a bad dream about it. Like I'm not lying.
Wait, you said you had a bad dream?
Like in my dream, like I literally tried logging in and it said it was terminated. This was not even a bad dream. This was a nightmare. And like I looked at the time, it was I remember this perfectly, 2:08 a.m. And I was like, what is going on? Like, I don't know what happened. It was a nightmare. Like if Murchie Kruger came by and slashed me in my dream. Wow. It was bad. But that's what happens.
That is funny.
When Yang wanted to talk about this show, and then there I was. I was just thinking about it too much. Wow. But let's get back on topic.
Yeah, no. And I mean, there's just so much to talk about. But you know what also scares me is when I upload a design, right? So a couple of weeks ago, I was able to upload 4. Now I'm down to 2. So a couple of weeks ago, I would upload 4 designs, right? And this
Mhm.
is what would freak me out, dude. And you tell me how you know if this happened to you. So I would upload 4 designs. 2 would go into processing almost immediately, right?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
the other 2 is under review for like 2 or 3 days, and I'm like, what the hell is going on, man? I'm like,
That's where you're sweating bullets.
yeah,
Everything
man.
that's
No,
going on.
seriously, man. Does that happen to you sometimes?
It did happen the last, I think, when we first started to like get going again.
Okay.
Like some were speedy and the other ones were like,
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh
And
man, the way I'm
I'm like, what's
sweating
going on?
there. Yeah, my armpits were bumping. I was just like, oh man, what's going on? I'm sweating here like an animal.
Right.
It's gonna
Right.
get processed. And then sure enough, it did. But yeah, that's what happened. Like some of them were quick, some weren't. So that's not a good feeling. But
Yeah, and because you're like, well, these 2 just went through almost instantly, but then this one is like under review for like 2 days. I'm like, oh man, I'm like, I hope I didn't do something wrong. So, but
and you were telling me that you were, maybe we didn't have a whole lot that we wanted to teach. I thought we had some pretty good things on this show. But one other thing that I did want to say is that, okay, they don't have a phone number, but this was
no.
interesting. I was going through the forums, a lot of the forums. I was trying to get as much info as possible, for this show.
Wait, so you did do some homework? That's good.
I did do some homework, yeah, especially
Okay.
like the difference between suspension and termination, which I couldn't really find much. But I can tell you this, that they did have this one little paragraph. If you're interested or wanting to know a little bit about the forums, or Merch by Amazon forums, they did respond to somebody that had, questions about being terminated.
Okay.
And they responded with this: we will not respond to any questions regarding terminated accounts on our community forums. You can reach us out at, they give their email address for information regarding your account specific inquiry. This is the thing I wanted to really, really point out. This sentence here: users who continuously post regarding account terminations are in violation of our forum guidelines.
Wow.
So you can't even mention this stuff. This is like Fight Club. You can't mention anything.
Wow.
And if you go on there and you're mentioning stuff about, I guess, your account being terminated on the forum.
Yo, dude, that's like some secret CIA stuff right there, man. You can't mention it.
Yeah, don't talk
Yo,
about it,
yeah, man,
especially on the
dude.
forums.
Amazon don't mess around, dude.
Yeah. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I don't know if you knew that
Wow.
or not, but I did want to
No,
throw
I
that
didn't
out
know
there.
that, man. That's good to know. I mean, first of all, I like to go into the forums and read. I don't ever post anything.
Yeah.
I,
You're just a lurker.
yeah, I'm just a lurker, man. I just like to go in there and kind of read, and then if there's anything worth sharing, I might put it in the group or something. But I've never posted in the group, in the forum. But yeah, I mean, so those are the things that really scare me and has me on the edge of my seat. So what am I doing to try and protect myself? Well, like I said, I'm double checking both Trademarkia and USPTO. I think USPTO is a little more accurate. So I'm doing that, and I'm uploading designs onto other POD platforms. I talked about Redbubble. Dude, man, Redbubble was doing really good about 2 weeks ago, where I was selling this one particular design almost every day.
Nice.
Sales have kind of slowed down, but yeah, it was selling like almost every day. So I'm getting into Redbubble. There's a couple of other ones that people had mentioned. I just got to do some more research on them. I heard Sunfrog is really good, so that's something that I need to kind of read up on. But as I mentioned earlier in the show, I'm working on my Shopify store, and the good thing about the Shopify store is, I did mention that I'm going to integrate Amazon FBA, but even if FBA was to go away, at least the Shopify store is mine. I mean, there's other ways you can make sales, obviously through Facebook ads and Instagram ads, and just driving traffic to your website. So those are the things that I'm doing. Again, because I don't want to rely entirely on Merch by Amazon, because God knows what's going to happen. Again, I think I'm playing by the rules, but you just never know.
Yeah. And I'm doing what I said earlier. I'm just going to keep I'm going to keep those emails. I'm going to spend a good, well, I already have been, but a good amount of time, at least every month. Usually like to do it at the end of the month, going through my designs, double checking them, going through the site, making sure none of that stuff is trademarked. And for some reason, if anybody questions it, at least I'll have those emails and I can take a screenshot of the new, search that I'm looking up for that tagline, see when it was trademarked, and just trying to, I guess keep safe that way. And I think that's the thing too. I think with Merch by Amazon, you have to do both. You have to not only check up on your designs, but also keep, listing new designs and not just letting it just sit there. And let's say it is passive income, and let's say you like that stuff, you don't just leave it there, and you get a couple of sales per day, all that stuff. But I wouldn't do that. I would just continuously work at it, keep on checking stuff, and keep at it. Because I think that Amazon also, I'm pretty sure they kind of look at that stuff too. Like if you're just kind of sitting back, relaxing, you're not really being active on it, even though you're still making money. I think to really build sales and to keep it going, you just have to be working at it every day, every week, and just checking up on everything.
Oh yeah, dude. Stuff, so. Yeah, you know what? I'm constantly, I'm not just doing research on Google, but I'm coming up with my own phrases and my own words and stuff, and some of them have worked out pretty good. So I'm not just doing research on the internet, but I'm thinking in my head, well, what if I do this and what if I do that, and it's paid off pretty good.
Yeah. So there we go. So I think, where are we? I forgot what I was gonna say. I had something. I forgot. I know. I had something, and it's gone.
Well, you know what? If you forgot, it must have not been that important. But that's pretty much the end of the show at this point. But guys, thank you again for listening to the podcast. We're trying to get better as we go. Again, we're 18 episodes in, so we're still relatively new to the whole podcast platform. But guys, if you guys have any comments or reviews that you want to leave, please, the good, the bad, or the ugly, go ahead onto iTunes and leave them there. We'd love to hear from you. Or if you just want to send us emails, we get emails all the time. Glenn, I mentioned this to you the other day, and it makes no sense, man. I had a couple of people message me asking me if I'm willing to coach them and that they would pay me. And I'm like, look, I don't have a problem taking your money, but there's no shortcuts. I mean, you just go out, you just got to go out and get it. I'm like, what more can I say?
Now you're taking money, you're taking taglines. I don't know what's going on.
What is going on? But I was like, yeah, man. I was like, there's no shortcuts, man. I'm like, I'm it's not that I don't want to teach you, but it's just there's really nothing to teach.
but there's just no shortcuts to anything, and I think that's kind of the problem, I guess, with a lot of like online gurus and smart dudes and all this stuff that maybe want to show off or stuff like that. That just goes with everything. You have to put in the work for merch,
exactly,
for eBay, for FBA, for Kindle. Everything's going to take work. Everything's going to take time. Nothing's going to happen overnight. Even starting off on eBay, if you wanted to do that part-time, I mean, it takes time to really know what you're doing as far as like taking pictures and description and title and pricing. Like,
absolutely,
nothing's going to be easy, but if you're working at it, you're being consistent every single day, you're going to see those numbers climb. You're going to hit, different goals. And then after that, you're going to hit, you have some more goals for stuff you can take on more and just keep building from there. But
true,
exactly right. It's not going to happen.
True. Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. And, it's not that we have anything against internet marketers. We have nothing against them. The only thing is, if you want to do internet marketing, and this is something that Glenn and I discussed, they have to be honest. They have to be ethical. I mean, like with me, I only recommend things that I personally use. I don't recommend it, I'm not going to recommend something if I never even touched it or used it. I only recommend things that I personally use. And And there is a course out there that I think will help you get started, and that's a course that Dan Vega has. And I think Chris Green, Chris Green always puts out good content. I know he has a course. We have to get him on the show here in the near future. But yeah, I think courses from Dan Vega and Chris Green. I think if you're just getting started, those would be good courses to invest in. And but other than that, I mean, again, there's no shortcuts. You have to put the time and the effort into anything you do.
Yeah.
So
Well, this show took a sudden turn. So there you
exactly.
go, guys. Next episode, internet marketing and what to do. Just kidding. All right. So
Well,
that's it. Please leave us a review if you can. That's on iTunes. You can join our Facebook group, Merch Minds. And if you need to contact me through email, you can hustlerhacks, the number 1, @gmail.com. Yang, any other last words?
no, that's pretty much it. I'll have everything in the show notes, our emails, the links to the Facebook group and the courses and all that. I'll have all that in the show notes.
All right. Sounds good. We will see you guys next week.
Bye.